This is Brent from the Orlando Soccer Show, and this week on our tactical breakdown, we talk about Angulo and his contribution to the Orlando City 2-1 win over CF Montreal. We also will talk about how Orlando City absorbed pressure and was more effective in holding on to the lead. First, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Below, our weekly broadcasts and previews for Orlando City and Orlando Pride are available here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Before we begin, we're going to talk about a substitution that happened in the 69th minute with Pasalic coming off the field too late. It took more time than it used to, so I want to review a little law of the game that's going to come out in the World Cup this year, but the Major League Soccer has adopted about 2 years ago. And so at this point, you're going to notice that Orlando City is going to be 10 versus 11. And you know, why is that? Well, if we take a look at the beautiful law book, time-limited substitution. To further streamline match flow, substitute players must leave the field of play in 10 seconds of the substitution board being displayed. Where no ball is used upon the referee signal. Should the player fail to leave within this time, they must exit the field. However, the substitute will not be permitted to enter until the first stoppage after 1 minute of play. Running clock has elapsed. So what does that mean? Pasalic left the field, didn't leave it in the 10 seconds. So Orlando City had to play short for 1 minute. And it kind of comes in big sometimes, where teams that recognize that might be able to take advantage of Orlando City when it comes to that. As a former goalkeeper, I always want to point out something that a good goalkeeper does, and here's Otero here. 69th minute, you see 42 seconds have elapsed, and he goes down. He has a, quote, muscle cramp. It's very clear that he understands that his team is down from 10 to 11, and so he's going to sit there and wait and wait and wait. And as you can see, if you look at the clock very closely, it is 69:55. He really just needs to burn about, 5-10 seconds or so, and then Spicer can come on to the field. So you can see 10-11 here. He waits a few more seconds, pulls the cramp, gets the stretch out. William feels better about himself. Referee comes over, says checks up on him. Clock is running, allows the substitution, and Spicer is now allowed back onto the field. So great play there by Otero to recognize that he needed to wait a minute, get the team back to 11 players, something I think that not many people did see on the day. So let's talk about Angulo here. So Angulo, this is just his overall body of work of just how he was able to run down and be a very key part here. So here you can see him backtrack and play defense. He is hauling all the way back to the defense. Like you can see here, the back line is a little bit too far out, but that's okay. But Angulo is going to come back, track, and actually pick the ball off the attacking forward here. So Angulo takes a lot of time. Look at that. He tracks it down, and now he's going to force him out to the wide. This gives the time for the defense to kind of back up, reset. Here he goes. He's going to continue to follow the play, and then he's going to be help defense here, and picks the pocket. Great play by Angulo. This was just a great night for him overall. We're going to pick up on the goal here, and we're Angulo now in on the attack. And what he does here that a lot of people don't see is he gets through, and he's actually going to play this pass with his left foot. A little bit difficult, more difficult of a pass, but the way his body is shifted here, he's got only a couple options here. He could try to make the shot here and, possibly score, but, earlier in the game, he did attempt that, didn't go well. So he's able to play the ball, and if you look very closely, he slides it over with his left foot. There's a great, on the internet here of the man marking that Orlando City beat here, but I think this pass here by Angulo's always been knocked about his passes. He's able to pass the ball over here to Ojeda, who makes no doubt when he finishes it in the back of the net. Just a great pass here by Angulo that I really want to call out. So the game shifts here when Maguire comes off as a sub, and Angulo kind of comes now and becomes like the center forward. And this is where I'm going to show just a difference of how Orlando City defended and absorbed a lead better than they kind of did it in the past. So here you're going to see Angulo top center here. He's going to see the lanes here. This is Orlando City worked on getting outlets out of their back line. So I think a thing that's difficult when you do sit back and absorb is how do you get out and attack? So Angulo here is doing that. Here in defense, what you're going to see is he is going to be central, and he's going to force people left and force people right. So Orlando City is almost trapping here. They're trapping in this third, kind of down here. So if the ball comes down to the left, these players are going to shift over, and we're going to trap Montreal on the side here. If the ball goes right, they're going to trap them down on this sideline. Just a great way to show that. If you look very closely here, look how high up they are. I'm going to flip to, so Angulo's going to force the pressure here. Yep, there he goes. And look, They want them to play the ball here. Angulo is ready to, pick off any pass and run on in, but they want to absorb the pressure. You see the two lines here, pretty organized and dividing the pass. Look how high up they are. This is a key. We're going to flip to the Inter Miami game here. So here, Inter Miami game, you can kind of see how far back Orlando City is sitting in this defense. No one directing the pressure. So now you see Angulo here. He's kind of directing the pressure here. They're going to kind of trap in here. So Montreal plays the ball. Here they kind of have to look. They kind of have no options here. Your center back has got Prince Awesu under control. You have your two people kind of just inside. There's occupying space. There's nowhere for Montreal to go but back out. So now Angulo is going to come out, and now he's going to steer the attack. He's like, all right, you can only force him really one way. They're going to go center. They're going to go out to the wide here. So then the team's going to completely come over and shift. And not much here. So team shifted over. If you look very closely, there's nothing down here over by Montreal, so they're going to have to go central where there is Gusky's going to come over into him. What he's done a great job of all season is come in there. Now, Montreal could dribble down into the corner there, but they're going right into that trap. So here's the ball in the middle. Brian Ojeda comes in, defends. This player's got nowhere to go except back out. But if you look at the defense here, they're all back here on the flat four. Clearly nowhere to go. They're going to have to recycle, unfortunately. So this is what Orlando City needs to do more often. They're playing pressure higher up the field, higher than they did against Inter Miami. And here comes Angulo. He's going to stir it back, and they're going to create that press over here on the right-hand side and create the trap. They're going to try to trap Montreal there and try to then spring forward in the attack. And that's something that Orlando City needs to do better when they do this and absorb pressure. There's nothing wrong with this. Montreal's not dangerous. They're out here, break down here, and here comes the long ball. Angulo's going to run it down and be rewarded with a close opportunity. This is what Orlando City needs to do to ensure that they're not sitting back on their defense. Now we're going to go to another clip here, and so same type of thing here. You gotta see Orlando City stretch out. Spicer this time is going to come out and start to absorb the attack. This is just a little bit later on to the game. Pressure. There's still pressure on the ball. Look at the pressure on the ball. And what happens when you put pressure on the ball? Things happen. Spicer goes on all the way through on a breakaway. Orlando City needs to continue to do this if they get leads and absorb pressure. Obviously, Spicer here probably could do better. I think he overruns the ball a little bit. But it's opportunities. Opportunities out of no possession. They do great with absorbing the pressure. And I know it's not pretty at times, but if Orlando City can get leads and do this in a time-to-time manner, they can find success. And that's what good MLS teams have to protect leads. And if Orlando City can continue to play this way under Perlman, I think you're going to see the success and celebrations that you see out here. And that's it for this week. Take a moment again to follow us on our socials below. A reminder, we have a weekly show and small 15-minute previews of the upcoming matches, perfect for your ride to the stadium. We will see you next week.